as that, you know. But I'll tell you a little bit about the series. Oh, that's perfect. I'll tell you a little bit about the series. So Mind Your Business is a series on WHIM, 1080 AM, that was a concept. I was asked to come up with a lifestyle sort of a topic to do a segment on the show, and the show is on from 4 to 6 on Saturdays on 1080 AM, and also on the TuneIn app. And I'm breathing heavy because I gotta bring it down. So I was asked to do this, and I didn't want to do a typical lifestyle show. I wanted to do a lifestyle show. I wanted to do something that would highlight people in the community, bring awareness to what's happening in the community, all the movers and shakers and whatever fields they were in, and bring them to the forefront and feature them on Mind Your Business. And also giving the community an opportunity to take care of themselves. So we came up with Mind Your Business. And Mind Your Business focuses on personal development for the first quarter, which we're in, and that from January through March. Business development, if you're interested in entrepreneurship or just maybe making extra money, different resources that you have out there. Leisure, which is the third quarter, and that's in the summer months. And then at the end of the year, dealing with men's health, women's health, family and faith.
Now, what is your demographics?
Our demographics is Caribbean based.
Okay.
And it goes all the way to the Bahamas. We have about 12,000 listeners per 15 minutes on our show. So the program is widespread, as well listened to. And so it's Mind Your Business is not about whether you're Caribbean or American. It's really about taking care of yourself.
Sure.
The community taking care of themselves. So this first segment that we're going through is personal development. We covered, the first segment we covered someone who was losing their hair and taking care of hair, personal development, fixing up the external.
Sure.
We dealt with proper dieting, physical fitness, and of course, here we are we're in the middle of Lent.
Right.
And even though we have faith at the end of the year, this is the season where you have to develop personally.
Right.
So I thought of people that I could interview.
Okay.
And of course, my pastor, Pastor Scott, you came to mind.
Of course.
Because I think you have a very practical way of looking at Christianity and faith. You're not holier than thou. You don't have that demeanor. You have, how should I say, an aristocrat sort of a demeanor. Yes, you are a king. You're a child of the king. You bring that, but you still deal with people in a very practical way, which is admirable. So I'm going to start by saying, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mind Your Business. I'm Jillian Smart, your host, and today's guest is my very own pastor, Dr. Reverend Dr. Charles L. Scott.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I am blessed and highly favored.
And welcome to Mind Your Business.
Thank you, Jillian. I'm so glad you thought of me.
Yes. So knowing the background of Mind Your Business, we are in the middle of Lent, and Mind Your Business deals with personal development. And in personal development, you can take care of everything on the outside, but if you don't take care of the inner man, the spirit man, you sort of lose yourself in the world. You're kind of lost. You don't know where you're going, where you're coming from, and where you're going. So this segment, we're talking to you about how can someone who is in the world, who takes care of everything else but the spirit man, how can they begin to take care of the spirit man?
Okay. It's so important because we are spirit and flesh. Some say that we are all spirit, and that that's temporarily enclosed in flesh, and some say that we are both spirit and flesh at the same time.
Which do you say?
I say we're a little of both. I think that ultimately the Spirit of God is inside of me. I'm dwelling in a fleshly body now, but I think my eternal home will be a place where the flesh will not go. The Bible affirms that flesh and blood cannot inherit eternal life. So we know we will leave this body and the flesh will perish, but the spirit lives forever. So the importance of making sure that your spirit or your spiritual life is healthy is just as important, or even more important, than your having your physical body healthy. Because if your spiritual body is not healthy, that will affect your perception of your physical body. If your spirits are low and down, then you don't have the energy or the resolve to do the things you should do to make your physical body what it should be. So we are spiritual creatures. Either way we look at it, we are definitely spiritual creatures. God, when He created humankind, He made us from dust, and when He breathed into our nostrils, we became, through His breath, living creatures. And so that is the Spirit of God that dwells within us. When we die, have you ever seen someone die? The last thing, you ever seen a baby? When a baby is born and you spank him on the behind, the first thing he does is inhales. And when a person dies, the last thing they do is exhale.
Wow.
So the baby inhales,
Life.
the spirit comes into him. At the end of life, we exhale, and that spirit leaves us. So we are spiritual creatures.
So how would someone who has everything in life, let's say, they have everything, they've got a nice car, the house, a great job, family, but they still feel that they're lacking, and they don't know, they kind of want to step into that world of faith. How can someone who's in that space begin the process of nourishing the spirit?
I think it begins by, first of all, recognizing that we are spiritual creatures. Recognizing there is a need that we need spiritual nourishment as well as physical nourishment. And that we have to make sure that our spiritual bodies are fed. And to become in contact with the spiritual side of our lives. We need to secure that through a personal relationship with God. God is a spirit. We know that. And the Bible reminds us when we worship God, true worship is in spirit and in truth.
So how does that personal relationship, how can someone start with that personal relationship?
Well, they seek it. You have to seek it, you have to desire it, you have to want it. The Spirit will not come or dwell in a place where it's not wanted. There has to be an inward desire to want it. Light and darkness cannot peacefully coexist.
Okay.
They're always at odds with each other.
Okay.
So where darkness is, light flees. And where there's light, darkness flees. So the invitation has to come that I want to be in the light. And if the light is that relationship, that spiritual relationship with God through your faith. And that faith has to be renewed on a daily basis. That walk with God has to be renewed on a daily basis. Just as your energy, in order to preserve and provide sustenance for your physical body, you have to have the same thing for your spiritual body. So you have to desire. You say, this is something I want. It has to have a made-up mind, that I recognize that I am incomplete as a person. I may have earthly toys,
Right.
but the bottom line of life, those things you're going to leave here. And there becomes a point in everyone's life that those things lose their glow.
Right.
And so we start reflecting inwardly, and it's through the inward reflection that we recognize we need to have a personal relationship with He who is holy and He who is a spirit.
So what I'm hearing from you is that first thing someone needs to do is recognize their need.
Yes.
Second thing is have the desire
Exactly.
to want to step into the light.
Yes.
And what would the third thing you would suggest for someone to do if they want to start building up their spirit man?
Okay. Well, the Bible reminds us, seek and ye shall find. Once you have the desire, then you should seek it. And the Spirit will direct you to where you should go.
So finding a church home.
Well, that may be where the Spirit leads you. The Spirit may lead you to prepare yourself before you can go find a church home. You may need to, Spirit may lead you to get a Bible and to start reading that Bible.
Right.
It may lead you to start getting on your knees and developing a prayer life. Churches is generally for worship, for corporate worship.
Right.
And many times people are not prepared for corporate worship because they have not learned the power of individual worship. And so your relationship with God is a personal relationship. It's not based upon the church you go to. When you go to heaven and stand before God in judgment, He's not going to ask you what church you go to, but you have to give a record based upon what happened personally within you.
Yes.
And God is a God of personal relationships. I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's a God of personal relationships. That's why, that's why I'm a Christian.
That's right.
Because He's a God of personal relationships.
All right.
So, the Spirit, I think we have to prepare ourselves for corporate worship by learning the power of the personal relationship with God and learning the benefit of having a strong prayer life and time for devotion, that just you and God. And as you develop that, you will find that the Spirit will be with you everywhere you go. You take it to work with you. You take it to a party. The Spirit of God dwells in you. It's everywhere you go. And it's the still small voice that will speak to you and remind you that you are greater than what people see, but you have something in you that gives you power, and gives you the power that gives you is confidence. It gives you energy. The Bible says the Spirit makes alive. So anywhere the Spirit of God is, you're going to find a lively creature. We're not boring, but we're alive. We're not depressed. We can be oppressed by oppressors, but that does not make us depressed because we got the Spirit of God. We think about the story of black folk in the world who, in many cases, were enslaved. In many cases, were treated as second-class citizens. And when you think about how little we had materialistically to celebrate, but yet we found joy.
Right.
And that joy came not from outside possessions, but the joy came because we had the Spirit of God within us.
Yes.
And so once you find that you have that Spirit of God within you, then you find this thing called joy. And the Spirit makes alive. We're lively people. You can knock us down, but we're going to get back up.
Right up, right up, right up. I like that. I like that. Pastor Scott. So just to recap what you said, in seeking someone who's looking to develop their spirit man, first they need to recognize that there is a need for them. Second, they have to welcome the Spirit. They must be open to the light. And third, they have to start developing, be open to where the Spirit may lead you. It may not be a church home, according to what you said. It could be just finding a Bible and starting to develop a personal relationship with God and reading the Word and understanding the Word and getting the Word in you. I thank you so much for this. Because it's practical. Because not everybody want to hear that, come on down to St. Paul, AME, West Palm Beach. Sometimes they want to hear, okay, this is a practical way for me to develop the Spirit man. So thank you so much for being with us here on Mind Your Business today, Pastor Scott.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a joy to share these moments with you.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested, if you're in the West Palm Beach area at any time and you would like to visit where Pastor Scott's, let me say that over. If you're in the West Palm Beach area and you would like to visit with Pastor Scott, he presides over St. Paul AME, West Palm Beach on the Haver Hill. This is the Reverend Dr. Charles L. Scott. Thank you so much. And I'm Jillian Smart for Mind Your Business.
Very good. Thank you, my dear. Hope that was okay.
I think it was.
All right.
I got it recorded many different places.
So now you edit it? You do your own
I
editing?
do my own editing.
All right. Well, you just a busy lady, aren't you?
I do my own
tell
editing.
you. Now you got it now. You got a spirit in you.
Pastor, I know that, and I've known that since I'm this high. My parents, I used to perform for my my aunts and uncles.